Hello everyone, Hobbyist here, and I'm back at it again with another My Hero Academia review. If you haven't yet already, make sure to hit that like, share, and comment button, and also make sure to subscribe as well, because I'm going to be cranking out some anime content at the same time as I'm doing any of my other stuff that I've got here on my channel. So, after talking about the craziness that is the Paranormal Liberation War Arc, we kind of get to calm down a little bit when we get into the Tartarus Escapees arc. It's still a great arc because it immediately follows with the aftermath of what happened in the last arc. But probably some of the best things that happen is that, well, as we can see here by the first volume 32 cover, that Deku gets a major costume change. Because of the events that happen in the war arc, Deku's forced to leave UA, and he leaves letters for all of his classmates telling them all about One for All and how all that works. And as we can see here in the middle of the cover, we got that lightning bolt indicating danger sense. We realize that in that time that Deku learned about his quirks, that he was able to pick up a couple more. We learn about Fajin and how that connects with kinetic energy, and how he's able to also use smokescreen at the same time. It's kind of a bit of a time jump from what I'm remembering from it. But in comparison, this arc is way shorter, as this Tartarus Escapees arc only encompasses volumes 32 and 33 of My Hero Academia, but it's still got some good moments, particularly with the fact that Deku by the beginning of this arc and the end of the last one, is in a very, very, very different mindset than from what he was before. We all know how Deku went from this crybaby to essentially becoming this guy who's super optimistic about heroes and trying to save everyone. Well, in this arc, Deku is depressed as hell. Like, we've never seen Deku as mentally defeated in My Hero Academia as we have here in this arc. Like, he's dirty. Something that I forgot to mention in the last arc is that Gran Torino gets put out of commission, so he passes off his scarf to Deku. Hence why he goes through this costume change, which Deku's costume in this arc as Vigilante Deku is probably the most badass costume that I've seen him in this series. And it's kind of more so just playing in the effects of Roundup. When Deku leaves UA, he leaves All Might behind at certain points. Like, we could tell that Deku's going through some stuff with just the fact that Shigaraki is specifically targeting him, which in turn can hurt his friends, so he has to play solo. And the fact that most heroes retired in that superhero society isn't really accepting applications for heroes for the government and stuff like that. It means that there's a lot more vigilantes that have sprung up who still want to be heroes but can't legally do so. So, the other good thing that comes out of the Tartarus Escapees arc is the return of Stain, which we haven't seen since several arcs ago. Because right now with this arc, it's the start of the Final Act Saga in My Hero Academia. The War arc from before was the conclusion of the Rise of the Villains arc, Rise of the Villains saga, excuse me. So we're on a completely different saga inside of My Hero in comparison to what we've been with before. When Stain finally escapes Tartarus, he is very much so confused at how the world has changed. To where now All Might is the retired hero, getting a highlight in the fact that Stain denies that All Might actually isn't this muscle bound guy in all actuality, and how he's actually just a more frail and a very different person from what he imagined. So it's a sort of a touching moment, because if you ask me, Stain has probably been one of the more interesting points of My Hero Academia, especially in the very beginning when we did the UA beginning saga, to where Stain offered a very interesting question, which we realize now that his themes and his ideals have kind of been expounded upon on this 32 volume journey that we've been through with these characters. So seeing how Stain just kind of gets a wake up call at how All Might isn't this big of a figure, physically, I should say, in comparison to what he was, was a very touching moment, and how Stain played a role in helping the heroes. And the other cool thing that we got out of this arc, from one of the villains in particular, is this woman here on the cover, Lady Nagant, and how we really get to find that it's been heroes too who've also been screwed out of the hero system. And we learn how Lady Nagant was a hero who was tasked with killing villains, and how even though people didn't publicly know that she was killing villains, that her organization kept that hidden because they wanted to save face with what heroes were supposed to be, and how she didn't really stand for that, and how she couldn't be this living contradiction and being this idol to these kids around her, even though what they were seeing wasn't what was actually going on. So it was a very deep motivation, and it's something that Hirikoshi has just kind of been highlighting the most. And the reason that she joins All for One is in order to reshape the system that she broke out of. So that was honestly something that was really cool within of itself in that fight. Inside of the Tartarus Escapees arc as well is that we kind of get this confrontation between Uraka and Toga, which is honestly very nice, and how Deku eventually rejects Toga. Then the other and most important bit, especially with this arc and late in the war arc, is that Bakugo gets so much character development. It's honestly great. Like, he develops to the point to where he's still a bit rageful because it's Bakugo. You can't really change his personality, but he grows to respect Deku. He understands the pain that he is going through. His classmates get to learn and understand the pain he's going through. In fact, its development is so good to the point to where Bakugo stops calling Deku Deku from this point moving forward with the rest of the series. He literally starts calling him Izuku instead of calling him Deku. It's weird, but it's like it's probably this most well earned, and it's heartwarming. It's a very beautiful moment inside of this Escapees arc. Of course, there might be some areas that I might be missing, because again, this is a couple arcs back, and it's been a little while since I've read them. But just picking up on those highlights was something that I found was really beautiful with this arc, to where it was a bit more tender and calm in comparison to the craziness that was the arc that came before. So yeah, I think the Tartarus Escapees arc did a really good job with what it was tasked with doing. And if you guys agree or disagree, please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts and spark some discussions on if there's anything that the arc could have done better or anything like that. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.